everybody. Welcome to the studio for another studio vlog. I'm very excited to be vlogging again today because it was requested. I asked my Patreon members what video they would most like to see in March, and the majority vote was for a spring studio vlog, which I was pleasantly surprised by because while I love vlogging and I love watching vlogs, it's not usually the content that I think most people want to see from me. I'm using today's vlog as an excuse to have some fun, to have some creative fun. I'm using today as an excuse to decorate the studio for spring. I do absolutely have some work that I need to get done in the morning, but in the afternoon we're getting my Cricut out and we are going to be creating some paper props. We're going to be hanging some flowers, things I can do with some vinyl to decorate the walls and stuff because it's a bit blank in here. This morning I have some project work to do. I have a piece of content to film for a partnership client for Instagram. I have to do some work on my new undated planners, which I'm going to be self-publishing on Amazon KDP, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. And then, afternoon is going to be fully dedicated to Cricut, cutting, and paper props, and we're going to get this place ready and decorated for spring. So let's dive into answering some emails, responding to some comments, and all of the important things that need to get done before we can have some crafting fun. Are you barking up a storm? Burp, burp, burp. Yeah. Why are you barking? So I just finished up writing my Sunday newsletter. It's about 3 in the afternoon now. So far today, I have already responded to emails, answered some comments and DMs, posted on Instagram stories, posted on Threads, posted on TikTok. I recorded a video for a piece of branded content. I then edited and sent those videos to the brand to review. I definitely had more things on my to-do list that I wanted to get done today, but I didn't anticipate how long it would take me to record and edit the different videos for that brand partnership. I'm going to push some of those other things on my to-do list to later in the week because I've had a morning of very intense screen time, editing things on my phone, which just sometimes it takes it out of me. I had a headache when I looked up from that. So I definitely need a break from intense on-screen work. And I think it's time to get out my Cricut and do some hands-on creative stuff. So the vibe that I'm thinking is spring, obviously. I want to print out some of the recent spring illustrations that I did and try and hang them up around the studio space to create backdrops, but also just some details to that will add something to the background of videos and just make something fun in the space. And the other thing that I want to do, which is kind of a last minute addition to my ideas, is to get out some of my semi-permanent vinyl, which is designed for sticking on walls. I thought, what if I added a scalloped edge to the door frame? So that is the plan. So it's time to get out some card and some vinyl and switch over to the Cricut design space so I can show you my process. So the first thing that I want to do is some test cuts because I don't know what size I want to cut these at. I know I'm also going to have to do back to front print and cuts, so basically printing each item twice, one version mirrored so that when they cut out I can glue them back to back, which means if they're hanging and they turn in the wind, there'll be an image on both sides. But the first thing that I want to do is test each of the images and see what size I might want to print them. So let's go ahead and have a look at the images as they currently are. So I'm getting a lot of warning signs over here. I think that it's to do with them being too big and then also that being like low resolution. So let's fix that. I'm gonna go with making them 15 centimeters in height for now. First thing that's jumping out at me when I look at them with the size adjusted slightly is that these two characters over here are now bigger than everything else. They definitely, even for the test cut, need to be smaller. I think looking at them all together, this size variation is good. So let's do a test print and see how they come out. If you're doing print and cut and you haven't done it before, here's my top tip. Remove the add bleed setting and always select use system dialog. This is going to open up your system printing dialog in the background. Sometimes you've got to move, yeah, there it is. Sometimes you have to move the Cricut window out of the way to get to it. It might pop up behind the Cricut design suite, but it'll be there. The reason that you want to use your system dialog when you're using the print and cut is because you get control over the settings. So you can change the quality, for example. We're using plain paper this time. We're going to use normal quality, but when I print the final ones, I'll change that to card and I'll change it to higher quality so I get a really clear print. So I've got the first print test. Got a few like lines on it, but I didn't have it on high quality print, so I'm gonna guess that that's it. Next thing is the size. I like the size of the tall flowers, and looking at the size of the other flowers here on the canvas, I think they're gonna be fine. I think this leaf that I printed with the tall flowers is too tall, so I'm gonna take it down to be 10 centimeters or 12 centimeters in height, like the other two leaves here. Okay, so I'm going to be doing 2 prints and then cuts. The first one that I'm going to do is regular print and cut as I see it now. Then I'm going to go back and do a second copy of it where I turn on the mirror toggle, and these are going to be the ones that will go on the back, so I can stick them back to front and they should be mirror identical cuts. And that's it. We're ready to go. We're gonna click continue. First, I'm gonna send each of the pages to my printer, and then I'm gonna come back and start cutting each of them and repeat the process for the mirrored versions. Cutting the flowers. So the next thing I have to do is start going through the different piles and matching the mirror cut and then glue them back to back and then start hanging them. I'm thinking nylon string across here, probably up high so that it's like out of shot for where like the zoom shot is, and then hanging these down in this little corner here behind my armchair. I also changed out my prints because cutting the flowers took forever and I wasn't able to do anything else in the Cricut design suite while the flowers were cutting, so I decided to change out the frames. I have prepared the file for the door frame and the lampshade scalloping vinyl. Got all my very accurate measuring here. So I've got some teal vinyl. This is what it looks like for around the door frame. I thought I had 2 packets of this when I had this idea in my head. Turns out I had like the end of 1 packet left. So I have measured how much I have plus the door frame and worked out what size I can make the scalloping to hopefully get enough to go around the edge of the door from just that 1 piece of vinyl. So fingers crossed it's gonna work. I'm gonna show you what I did. So in here in my Cricut design suite, I've created 2 different little scallops. This is for the door frame and this is for the lampshade. I created these using basic shapes, so a rectangle for the base and then some circles, measured out everything really accurately and then welded them together, and then I've just color coded them for me when I send everything to cut so I can see when I need to swap out the vinyl. That's what I'm going to put on the lampshade because I don't have enough to do both of them in teal, and I thought the teal was better for around the door than this color. So I'm going to send those to start cutting because I have like 18 pieces of the teal to cut and 6 of these, I think. And while they are cutting, I'm going to start sorting and gluing these back to back so I can start hanging them up. Okay, as you've probably gathered, it is the next day. The spring decorations are up. I wanted to wait until this morning to finish up the vlog because by the time I finished putting up everything last night, it was late and dark and the lighting wasn't good, and so I wanted to be able to get a couple of shots of everything up in the daylight so you can fully appreciate it. I had the most fun yesterday on this project. I think it's the most fun I've had with my Cricut in a really, really long time. It's also the first time in a very long time that I had like basically a full day. I know I started after lunch, but it felt like a whole day because I stayed doing it for so late. But yeah, basically a whole half day of just crafting and creating and playing a little bit for the sake of doing something creative that wasn't like work related. So yeah, that is the studio decorated for spring. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. If you enjoyed crafting with me and coming along for a little studio work day and creative play day in my life, go ahead and click that thumbs up button and let me know in the comments which of the Cricut crafts that I did were your favorite, or if there's any specific things you'd like to see me create with my Cricut in the future, because I had a lot of fun yesterday. So any excuse to get my Cricut back out again and create something for you all. If you haven't done so already, you can also hit that subscribe button so you're subscribed to my channel. And if you want to get notifications when new videos go up, you can turn on that little notification bell, or you can click the link in the description to sign up to my email newsletter. I send out updates to my newsletter subscribers when new videos go up on YouTube, when new videos go up on my Patreon membership, as well as when I post content on my blog, and then also lots of fun little creative updates and resources all the time in between. Also, if you want to head on over to patreon.com/LauraJane Illustrations, you'll find even more content from me, including bonus monthly videos. Last month, I did a video exclusively for my Patreons where I showed and broke down my process for creating project mood boards in Procreate and gave lots of tips on how you can use Procreate to plan out your design and illustration project. So if you want to watch that video, I'll link it down in the description. You can head on over to my Patreon and become my Patreon pal. I'm going to go ahead and end out this vlog here. I had so much fun creating these spring decorations for you all, and I hope that you enjoyed watching along, and I will see you in my next video.